Hello everybody out there. Today we are going to analyze a poem, an African poem, titled Not My Business, composed by Niyi Osundare. Before we appreciate the poem, I want us to study this picture very well because it says a lot about the poem. This is a man eating his food. He sits down conveniently enjoying his food. But another man is being arrested right in his presence. But because he's not disturbed, he feels unconcerned at another person's plight. The arrest continues like that, and he feels unconcerned until his own time comes. Now let's see what happens to him in the poem. Let's first look at the life history of the poet Niyi Osundare, a short life history. Niyi Osundare was born on March 12, 1947 in Ikere, Ekiti State, southwest Nigeria. He earned his first degree in English at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. His master's and PhD were earned at the University of Leeds and York University, Canada, respectively. He became a professor of English at the University of New Orleans in 1997. Niyi Osundare is a renowned African poet, linguist, and dramatist. His incursion into poetry is influenced by the oral poetry of his culture, Yoruba. He has written a lot of poems, plays, and writings. One of his poems, titled The Leader and the Led, is in the 2021 to 2025 WAEC Syllabus. Not My Business was published in 2005 and is one of the recommended poems in the 2026 to 2030 syllabus. He has won several awards nationally and internationally. Now this is just the introduction to the poem. Not My Business is a timeless narrative poem composed by Niyi Osundare, a Nigerian poet. The poem was published in 1992 and it addresses some salient topics like oppression, sit-down-low, apathy, and carefree attitudes. All these are attributed to this man that feels unconcerned, that is eating and feels unconcerned when another person is being arrested. The consequences of all these are reflected in the poem. The aftermath of remaining silent in the face of oppression and injustices. Now, I identify some expressions in the poem, and I also find the poetic meaning. I call it poetic meaning, that is the meaning according to how the expressions are used in the poem. We have not my business, it means it doesn't concern me. The belly of a waiting jeep means inside the jeep. A lengthy absence means detained for long. Her job was gone, she got sacked. Its usual silence means packed as usual. Now let's look at the stanza by stanza analysis of the poem. The first stanza opens with the narrator telling us about the picking up of Akane, the maltreatment meted out on him in the course of the forceful arrest. Let's go from the poem. They pick Akane up one morning, beating soft like clay, and stuff him down the belly of a waiting jeep, quote unquote. The first stanza gives us the impetus on what the poem is about. It draws the attention of the readers to the injustices that will be unfolding. Akane is arrested in broad daylight, beaten mercilessly, bundled into a waiting jeep, and detained. That is the first person that is arrested. The poem further reveals that Akane was arrested when he was eating. This shows the extent of the oppression, vulnerability, and helplessness in the society. If people don't fear anybody and anybody can be arrested anytime without minding who is watching that, despite that the man is there eating, Akane is arrested. The poet, who is a witness, shows apathy and unconcernedness to the arrest. So far, the arrest doesn't stop him from eating. So far, he's not disturbed from taking his food. He feels unconcerned. Now let's go from the poem again. What business of mine is it? So long they don't take the yam from my safe frame out. Quote unquote. The narrative continues in the third stanza with the arrest of Danladi one night. Another person is being arrested now, but this time it's in the night. He was arrested when the whole house was sleeping. This shows the extent of the impunity from these people. That is, anybody can be arrested at any time. Danladi is dragged out in the presence of the poet and detained for a very long time. The poet still feels unconcerned since he's not disturbed. So again, he feels unconcerned. The fifth stanza tells us about the sacking of Chinwe. Chinwe is presented as a dutiful worker. So this Chinwe is presented as a very dedicated, hard-working worker who has never been found wanting in her job. She's sacked without any query, warning, or probe. This shows the level of injustices being meted out to the people in the society. Let me take that one again. This shows the level of injustices being meted out to the people in the society. The narrator also feels unconcerned since he's not affected. Chinwe is not his family, so he feels unconcerned. It doesn't concern him. The seventh stanza brings to the fore the aftermath of feeling unconcerned when injustices are being perpetrated. The narrator who feels unconcerned when Ankane, Danladi, and Chinwe suffer humiliation and injustices is the next victim. They come for him one evening when he wants to eat his yam. A knock on his door stops his hand from taking the yam. He's arrested and bundled into a waiting jail. Now to the poem again. And then one evening, as I sat down to eat my yam, a knock on the door froze my hungry hand. He couldn't even pick the yam that he's about to eat. The narrator symbolizes the people who show apathy in the society, especially when injustices have been carried out on the people. If he had intervened when Akane was arrested, maybe they would have come for him. But he feels unconcerned since his well-being is not affected and his own share comes eventually. A strong message is sent here. If we feel unconcerned about the sufferings of others, we are risking becoming a victim ourselves. Yes. Also, if we see something, we should say something. What goes around comes around. The characters are created to reflect every part of the society. This indicates the injustices, likewise apathy, take place in every society. That is, these things are happening in every society. It's not limited to a society. Akane is Yoruba, Danladi is Hausa, while Chinwe is Igbo. So injustices take place everywhere. Now let's identify some of the themes of the poem. The first one is apathy and indifference. The poem condensed in all totality the attitudes of apathy and indifference. When an issue doesn't affect some people directly, they feel unconcerned. They put on the toga of not my business. It doesn't concern me. Next one is brutality and injustices. We see in the poem how the people are brutalized and unjustly arrested. Akane is beaten soft like clay. Danladi is dragged out to indent the absence. And Chinwe, the dutiful worker, is sacked without any notice. We also have the aftermath of apathy that results of feeling unconcerned. The narrator remains unconcerned as a witness to all the injustices and is not affected by the oppression. He eventually becomes a victim when they also come for him. This is the result of feeling unconcerned about other people's plight. The poem teaches us to speak out in the face of oppression and injustices so that we will not become victims. One day, the man dies in him who remains silent in the face of oppression. This one for Boris Winkas, and the man dies. If you don't stop victimization, you will become a victim. There's also the theme of authority. The poem exposes the people at the helm of affairs in the society. The leaders are supposed to seek the welfare of the people, but turn them into slaves. It reflects on how they wield their authority over the people and how they oppress and intimidate them in the name of ruling the people. This shows of oppression and intimidation suppress the people and take away their voices from them. They will not be able to speak out. We also have social responsibility. the poem gives some instances of injustice in society and the consequences. This serves as a call to action to the masses and to be aware of their responsibilities as citizens of a country. You don't just keep quiet and feel unconcerned while people are being oppressed unjustly. So those are some of the themes of the poem. Now the poetic devices used in Not My Business. First one is dramatic. You see that the poem you can make it dramatic. That is, the poem presents the poem in the form of a narrative. Hence, it can be dramatized. The poem is in the form of a narrative, so you can turn it into a drama. The characters of the unconcerned narrator, Akane, Danladi, Chinwe, and the oppressors can be created and molded into a play. We also have the use of repetition or refrain. Repetition is introduced in a poem to lay emphasis and call attention. A stanza is repeated 3 times in the poem to highlight the narrator's indifference and apathy to the different brutalities in society. This is the stanza. What business of mine is it? So don't take the yam from my suffering mouth. We also have the use of alliteration. This is a figure of sound. A consonant sound is repeated at the beginning of 2 or more words in a line of a poem. This is used in the following lines of the poem. See them, line 7, 10, 15, 17, 24, 24, 25, 26. Please let's check them. We also have symbolism. The poet uses symbolism in the poem to convey deeper meanings. The yam symbolizes the comfort and the satisfaction of the narrator. That is, the man that feels unconcerned. He feels satisfied with that yam. So the yam symbolizes comfort and satisfaction. It is a metaphor for self-interest, as the narrator puts his own well-being over the others. In the last part of the poem, the man is separated from his yam. It thereby symbolizes the cycle of oppression. So it comes to him. What goes around comes around. We also have irony. What happens to Chinwe in stanza 5 is ironic. She is presented as a worker with a stainless record, but she is unjustly sacked from her job. These are irony of the situation, and it is used to show the level of impunity in the society. We also have antithesis. This is the use of contradictory expressions in the line of a poem. This is used in stanza 5, line 18. Just one needs sack for a stainless record. These are 2 contradictory expressions used here side by side. Just one needs sack. This one for a stainless record. A stainless record, one needs sack. These are contradictory and are used to show the level of injustice in the society. We also have personification. This is giving the attributes of a living thing to the non-living. We have this in stanza 1, lines 3 and 4. Let's go from the poem. And stuff him down the belly of a waiting jeep. Belly. That makes his personification. Belly is an attribute of living thing. Jeep is referred to as having a belly, which is an attribute of living things. We also have it in line 4 of a waiting jeep, a jeep that is waiting. He knocked on the door, froze my hungry hand. His hungry hand. His hand is hungry. That's when they have come to arrest him. So he's about to pick a yam, but he couldn't do that because of the knock on the door. The jeep was waiting on my bewildered lawn. Waiting in his usual self. So those are the examples of personification we have in the poem. There's also simile. This is when 2 things are compared with the use of like or has. We have it in line 2. Describe how Akane is dealt with. Beat him soft like play. There's also the rhetorical questions. This is a literary expression presented in the form of a question, but requires no answer. This is used in stanzas 2, 4, and 6 of the poem. What business of mine is it, so long they don't take the yam from my suffering mouth? That's the rhetorical question there. This is to tell us why the narrator feels unconcerned with the brutality. So that's the appreciation of Not My Business, composed by Niyi Osundare. Please If you are new on this platform, just make sure you are following me or you subscribe to my YouTube platform. You are free to share this video on any social media platform. If you have any question, you can ask your question. And also, let me use this medium to introduce one of my books to you, Simplified Poetry. It covers all the poems in the 2026 to 2030 syllabus, and I'm assuring you that that is how all the poems are comprehensively analyzed. So if you need your own copy, just link me up. You can call this number at the back of the book, or you send your message to the comment section. Thank you, and God bless.